All right, good morning, ladies. We're going to go through the solutions to this sheet that was on your test. So I'm going to write solutions here. Now I'll save this as a PDF as well, so you can have it as a hard copy if you wish. Okay, so I want to go through this rather quickly, but if you have any questions later, please ask, okay? Don't think that you just need to watch this video and that's it. If you need to ask any questions, please do. All right, so question 1A. So when we're multiplying, we don't have to look for like terms or anything like that. We're just going to multiply our numbers. So we've got 2 times 8, which gives us 16. And then we've got a base A. And when we're multiplying, we add our powers. So it's going to be a to the power of 3 plus this 2 here. And our other base is b. And this is to the power of 1. And then we've got the 6 on this side. So bringing it all together, we're going to have 16a to the power of 5 and b to the power of 7. All right, in question B, we do have a common factor in 6 and 15, so we're going to simplify that. Now, when I've got a division like this, I'll just start the division and then do each part separately. So we'll look at the coefficients first. So the 6 over 15, 3 is the highest common factor, so that can simplify to 2/5. So I'm going to write 2 on the top and 5 on the bottom. Now when you're dividing, we subtract our powers, so I'm going to leave this p up here, and the power is 7 minus 4, okay, because 7 on the top minus the 4 on the bottom, and then q is going to be 2, and remember there's a 1 there, so it's going to be 2 minus 1. So our final answer, again, just draw your line. On the numerator, we're going to have 2p to the power of 3. That's a 3. Might just draw it a little bit better. And then q to the power of 1. So we don't write the 1. And then 5 on the bottom. All right, moving on to question 2. So simplifying these, we've got a power and then a power outside the bracket. So when we have that, we just multiply our powers. So it's going to be 3 times 5. So that's going to be w to the power of 15. And here, the 3 is on the outside, so that isn't taken to the power of 2, but the x is. So we're going to have x 6 times 2. So we're going to have 3x to the power of 12. All right, question 3, same thing, but we've got a few more things inside our bracket, but everything is taken to the power of 4. So instead of doing it all in, excuse me, all in one go, do it, write it first, each power, and then do the calculation. So we've got a -2 here. Now negatives always cause people problems, so I always like to put them in brackets just to remind me that's important to think about. And then we've got c to the power of 2 and then times 4 because the 4 outside the bracket, and then d to the power of 3 times 4. Now a lot of people forget about the coefficient, so the -2, so just make sure you didn't forget about that. Now we've got a negative number. When you have a negative number to a even power, that negative becomes a positive, so it's basically 2 to the power of 4. That's because a negative times a negative gives you a positive. But if we had a negative times a negative times a negative times a negative, it still gives you a positive. So a negative number to an even power will always give you a positive number, and a negative number to an odd power will give you a negative number. So -2 to the power of 4 is 16. Okay, so -2 times -2 is 4, times -2 is -8, times -2 is positive 16. I'm not doing too much working out here because I want to keep this sheet for the solutions. So you just have to listen to me talking. Okay, Now we've got a fraction, so both the numerator and the denominator is taken to that power of 3, and everything there is to the power of 3. So we're going to have 2 to the power of 3. You don't have much space to draw the fraction. Then we got 3 times 3. Okay, so 2 to the power of 3, x 3 times 3 all over. And then the same on the denominator. So 3 to the power of 3, y to the power of 5 times 3, and then z to the power of 3. All right, so let's tidy things up. 2 to the power of 3 is 8. X to the power of 3 times 3 is 9. So we've got on the top 8x to the power of 9. And then on the bottom, 3 cubed is 27. So 3 times 3 times 3. And then y to the power of 5 times 3, which is 15. Oops, I was about to write an x. Z to the power of 3. Okay, question 4. So we've got to express these with positive indices. So this -4 only applies to the b. So treat everything separately. So the 9 and the a, so when you think about it, this is the same as a fraction. It's like 9ab to the -4 over 1. So anything with a negative power goes from the numerator to the denominator. Okay, so the b now goes down to the bottom, and the power is 4. Okay, for question B, a few more things going on here. The easiest way to do this is to just start your fraction. Okay, so anything with a negative power goes on the bottom. So that 4 to the -1, I'm just going to put on the bottom now. And then x to the power of 2 stays on the top. Now, 2 to the power of 0, anything to the power of 0 is 1, so that basically disappears. And y to the -3 goes up the top. Now, it's not the nicest way to write a fraction, so let's just tidy it up a little bit. But if you left it like that, there is nothing wrong because you can clearly see that 4 is on the bottom. Okay, question 7. Simplify each of the following using a combination of index laws. Okay, so here you need to have knowledge of dividing fractions. Now, when you're dividing fractions, you keep your first fraction the same. Your division changes to a multiply, and you and you flip your second fraction. So keep, change, flip. So we keep the first fraction. So I'm just going to write that now. We change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and we flip the second fraction. Okay, because basically dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal, and reciprocal just means you flip it. All right, now when we're multiplying, we can put everything, all the numerators on the top, and the denominators, and I'm going to write them in alphabetical order. So I'm going to write that A2 first, and then the B squared. And I'm just going to make sure I've written it all correctly. Okay, and then lastly, we're going to, because it's a division, we got to just eliminate our powers. So we're going to have a to the power of 5 minus 2, and then b to the power of 7 minus 2. Because remember, when we divide, we subtract our powers. Should probably put an equals there. So we've got 4a to the power of 5 minus 2, which is 3, b to the power of 7 minus 2, which is 5. So 4a cubed b to the power of 5. All right, question B is a little bit bigger. So first thing you would do is take everything to the power of 2. I'm just checking first that we can't eliminate anything here. This z to the -3, if you wanted to, you could put it up the top, or you can do that later. I'm just going to leave it down the bottom for now and take everything to the power of 2. So just remember the 3 is to the power of 2. The y is to the power of 2, and I'm going to do that in one go. So 2 times 2 gives you 4. And then x to the power of 5 to the power of 2 gives us x to the power of 10. and then z to the power of -3 times 2, which is -6. And then we've got our other fraction. All right, so let's just tidy things up a little bit. So I'm going to do two things in one go. I'm going to just tidy things up by making that a 9, but also I'm going to multiply my numerators and my denominators at the same time. So I'm going to have 9y to the power of 4. And that z I'm going to bring up now as well. So that's z to the power of 6 on the numerator, and then x to the power of 15. Okay, so that z, because it's a negative power, remember it goes from the denominator up to the numerator. All right, and then on the bottom we've got x to the power of 10 times 27. Probably should put that 27 first, but I'll just put it there. All right, so let's have a look at our coefficients first. So 9 over 27 is just 1/3, okay, because 9 is a common factor, the highest common factor. Let's work alphabetically. So I'm going to do my x first. So on the bottom we have x to the power of 10, on the top x to the power of 15. So remember we subtract our powers, so it's going to be x to the power of 5. And then we've got y to the power of 4, and then z to the power of 6. Now, you don't need to have that 1 there, so I might just rewrite it because some students will question me why it's there. So we've got x, 5, y, 4, z, 6, all over 3. And I felt like there was something else I was going to say about that one, but I can't remember. Anyway, girls, well done. See you later.